Welcome, Heather Leigh.
Hello, Dr. Sandra.
It has been a long time. So I'm really honored to have you here. Heather Leigh is someone whose work sits really truly at a unique intersection. She brings together a medical understanding. She definitely has a lot of lived experience and deep energetic intelligence for sure. Having path through nervous system dysregulation and chronic illness, Heather Leigh is going to speak from experience rather than from theory. She invites people to listen differently to their bodies, to recognize symptoms as meaningful cues that can lead to greater self trust and presence. Heather Leigh, she works with the nervous system as a gateway to embodiment, resilience, and expanded capacity. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sandra. It is wonderful to be here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
All
You
right,
sound
great.
good, you look good.
Thank you.
You're going to do a little bit of a presentation, so do you want me to just let you take it from here?
Sure. Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you very much. Well, hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I think Sandra has put together an incredible opportunity for practitioners to share what's out there with everybody, and for those of you who are seeking to find something that resonates with you. So today I'm going to be presenting my Your Nervous System is Asking for More Light, and understanding your true superpower through that experience. As Sandra said, I'm Heather Leigh Strom, and we're just going to kick it right off here today. So a couple of decades ago, I was working as a home health physical therapist, caring for an older woman who was visibly distressed by the presence of her own adult son in the room. He was a very large man who appeared mentally unstable. And he began asking me some really increasingly invasive personal questions, which made me uncomfortable, and I didn't want to answer. So I tried to politely redirect, and that enraged him. So we stormed out of the room. Now, I noticed instantly that my patient's face turned to panic. And for some reason, I instantly noticed the taste of metal in my mouth, which I hadn't experienced before. And I heard a voice in my head say, "Run." So you can imagine how I felt at that moment. I sprinted to my car. I didn't ask any questions. I just sprinted to my car. And as I drove away, I turned to see the man appear on the front porch with a shotgun. So that was the day I lived, because my nervous system knew something that I didn't know and I couldn't see. And had I questioned it, I would have been in big trouble. And here's what I want to establish today. Your nervous system is responding intelligently to a world that we've learned to ignore. It does far more than monitor your internal biology. It's also tapped into your energetic field, your collective intelligence, and survival memory. It is a complex system that deserves to be understood on a level greater than biology alone. That's what we're going to talk about today. What it needs from us in today's culture is not regulation, but liberation. These are profoundly different concepts. And today we're going to be exploring that. So I'm going to be covering a lot of material, and I'd like to invite you just to listen. I'm happy to share my notes with you afterwards, so don't feel like you have to write all this stuff down. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or unusually sensitive, I want to propose this question. Is it possible your nervous system is registering something you've been taught to overlook. Your nervous system is intelligent. It responds to conditions, environments, and subtle threats to safety, and it communicates that. It communicates what it perceives through sensation, emotion, and physiological responses, right? We've been trained to accept a very narrow expectation of how the nervous system should function. We expect it to tolerate constant input, endless multitasking, pushing emotion aside on demand, right? Remaining productive in environments that are anything but supportive. And by that, I mean the presence of neurotoxins, EMF, and 5G frequency. These 4 points are so significant that I've created an additional talk around them, which I will share information about that with you in a moment. So, when our nervous system struggles under these conditions, we assume something is wrong, don't we? What's wrong with me, right? But in reality, the world has changed. The volume and velocity of information has changed. And many nervous systems are becoming more sensitive because they are paying attention to what we've been trained to ignore. Just think about that for a second. Your nervous system also doesn't know the difference between a real danger and an imaginary one. Things like social media, entertainment, memories, those repeated thoughts we have about our past, these all register and collect in the system. Even thinking about them creates stress. Now, just pause for a moment and really take that in. It's a lot. Think about how normalized we've become to daily violence, stimulation, and the pressure our nervous systems are exposed to. Just by scrolling on Facebook, watching a violent action movie, or replaying painful memories or bad choices. Consider what your nervous system is experiencing with all of this. We've been trained to ignore the electrical spikes these send through the body, Our conscious mind will say, oh, it's not real, or it's not happening to me, or it doesn't really affect me, right? But energy doesn't lie, brain waves don't lie, and that's what your nervous system is tuned into. So, perhaps if you're feeling overwhelmed, unsafe, unable to rest or maybe sleep at night, might it be your nervous system is communicating to you that the reality we live in has drifted out of bounds? That's a big one. Just ponder that as we continue, okay? It's a lot. As my opening story demonstrated, the nervous system doesn't only process biological information, it mediates perception, intuition, nonverbal knowing. It functions as an early warning and guidance system, as well as a connection to your higher wisdom. And when we understand that, the relationship shifts. The nervous system stops being something to fight or control as in downregulate, and become something we can listen to, partner with, and trust. Now, I studied the nervous system medically. I was trained to rehabilitate it physically. But after enduring multiple traumas to my own nervous system, including brain surgery, Epstein-Barr virus, mold sickness, and even PTSD after being hit by a car, my system became overwhelmed by a cumulative blockage. What surprised me was that everything I had been taught wasn't enough to help me. That's when I began listening differently. And that's what happened. This is the model I'm going to share with you today, how this model formed. All right? So you benefit from my experience. So let's start by identifying possible reasons why the nervous system gets overwhelmed. You're probably going to hear a lot about this over the next 3 days, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Your nervous system is designed to ensure that information is registered, consciously or unconsciously. It turns up the volume when communication is restricted and something important can't get through, right? When a signal moves through cleanly, you don't even notice it. When it doesn't, your nervous system raises the volume and amplifies the message. I imagine a few of us can relate to that, right? Think of it like information trying to travel down a power line, and that power line is frayed, shredded, or overloaded. Now, the message doesn't stop when it hits a barrier. It increases intensity to push through it. That's why it starts to scream. The intensity can show up as stress, anxiety, hypervigilance, emotional reactivity, even physical symptoms. Each person is different because something important can't get through a clogged system, right? So, what fragments or clogs that system in the first place? I'm going to give you 4 common possibilities, the 4 most common scenarios I see in my practice with my clients, and I've encountered all 4 of these myself. The first being a broken communication line. Now, this happens psychologically with psychological blocks that we put in place, the I don't want to know, I don't want to feel kind of things that we subconsciously sometimes put in place. It could be because of a physical trauma. You know, the incision with surgery causes trauma to the nervous system. Or it could be a system disruptor, such as a viral, chemical, or energetic disruption in the system. The second possibility is compressed stress, the accumulated experiences that were never resolved in the nervous system. They create a static in the lines, and it takes up space in the system. Also, we see our third scenario is constant input overload. I think a lot of us are familiar with this one. No pauses, no clearing, no releases, no downtime, just more, more, more. The nervous system has got to have that reset option, right? Our fourth and final possibility is protective adaptations that never get updated. So that would look like a survival strategy that it once worked for you to save your life, but it wasn't deactivated once you were safe. It keeps looping in the system. Again, holding up space, controlling the scenario. This is why regulation alone often falls short, because regulation manages the volume, but it doesn't free the system. Yeah. And none of this happens, of course, when it's convenient for us, does it? In the moment, when we are responding to nervous system challenges, we typically just push through it. We override what we're feeling or receiving from the nervous system, suppress it, or even delay the process and go into a procrastination into infinity cycle. That's very common. What that creates is compression in the system, a blockage of nervous system waste. Sounds terrible, doesn't it? The body tries to clear this during sleep, but we unconsciously hold on to it, screaming, "No, I'm not done with that yet. Don't take it to Goodwill," you know? So the system has to just push harder, turn up the volume, and fight its way through the clutter. So the intensity of the messages increases, which makes for a very uncomfortable, unproductive, and unbalanced human experience, doesn't it? One of the most miraculous things that happened after my experience with mold sickness, well, in case you're not familiar with mold, it's a complex invasion where mold colonizes inside the body and takes over. It disrupts multiple systems, including the nervous system, and creates constant internal alarm. So it's really traumatizing to the nervous system. When I finally healed from this experience, something unexpected happened. My nervous system became a mold meter. So I can now walk into any building and not even look around, and my nervous system will alert me when there is mold present. Now, there's no panic, there's no emotional charge. I simply notice the signal, make a mental note, take a look around, take action if I need to. I don't run out of the building screaming, I just notice it. Because my nervous system has healed from that trauma, it doesn't create a problem for me because it isn't overwhelmed anymore. The nervous system is functioning as it should be functioning. It has been liberated into its superpower and transitioned from survival into mastery. And this is where we all want to get. And I have to laugh because my nervous system has become a regular old mold sleuth. And it's a partnership that we share now. It's a trust that I have for my nervous system. And that's what liberation looks like in the nervous system. Not dulling sensitivity, right? But freeing it from the survival loop. And using that sensitivity as a viable superpower. It's a powerful transition. And that's what our nervous systems are really asking for. So this brings up an important question. Is it possible to have a sensitive nervous system without overwhelm? What do you think? Yeah, absolutely. Not only is it possible, it is what the nervous system is designed for once it has enough capacity. That capacity is critical, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So we're going to examine the conditions that allow the nervous system to function clearly, cooperatively and intelligently with expanded capacity. For this to happen, for your nervous system to operate in an extended, expanded capacity as a true partner in communication, a few foundational conditions need to be present. First, it needs space, a clear, open path for communication to move without obstruction. Unresolved electrical debris backs up the system and slows real-time responsiveness. It's like a computer whose memory is filled up with outdated files, unfinished drafts. It still runs, but it lags. It overheats, overreacts, and it strains to respond. Clearing out old storage restores the speed, the clarity, and the precision, doesn't it? The system, your nervous system, needs to be able to clear old files, or it affects real-time operation. The second condition is it needs permission to experience without urgency, control, or override. It needs you to value its input with a willingness to receive it instead of shoving it away, right? The third condition that would be ideal, it needs openness, a desire to stay present with what's arising in the moment instead of reflexively shutting it out or shutting it down because it might feel too loud, it might be inconvenient, or it might be uncomfortable, right? The fourth and final condition we'll talk about today is that your nervous system needs you to be curious. The ability to listen in real time without judgment, reaction, or avoidance. Just openly receive the wisdom it has to share. Now, if you think back on my opening story I shared, if all four of those had not been present, there probably would have been a different outcome to that story, don't you think? So, do you think you could offer your nervous system at least one of these conditions today? Just maybe? Just consider it as we move forward. Now, what would it be like if your nervous system were operating from this level of mastery? What would that feel like? Well, it feels like clear awareness when the input does arrive. You can perceive it for what it is without emotional entanglement. You make informed decisions and you take aligned actions without lingering stories about it. Yeah. Information moves through cleanly and immediately. Everything is dealt with in real time. There's no backup, no backlog, and no obstructed lines. It feels like subtle perception. Information arriving in gentle whispers. Wouldn't that be nice? There's a calm precision also to your focus. And underneath it all, there's a feeling like a powerful warrior has your back. Doesn't that sound wonderful? It's possible, trust me. The shift from overwhelm to mastery doesn't happen by suppressing sensitivity. It happens when the nervous system is finally allowed to release what it's been collecting and storing so its intelligence can move freely again. So, up to this point, we've been discussing clearing congestion and restoring the flow of these electrical pathways in our nervous system so information can move through without overwhelming us, right? Creating space for the system to function is a very critical step. But this is just the beginning. Consider it the prerequisite. The next step is expansion, and that's where the magic happens. Expansion involves increasing your nervous system's capacity to hold information, frequency, and communication in the form of light. And this is where something truly amazing has been overlooked traditionally. The nervous system is not just a biological regulator, as we've discussed. It is a critical conductor of light-based intelligence. Light frequency is high vibrational, energetic intelligence moving through the indigenous power lines of your physical body. That sounds amazing. This is one way your perception, intuition, and inner knowing can register. It's the goosebumps on your arms, the hair on the back of your neck. Your nervous system transmits intelligence from deeper and higher layers of you, your divine intelligence, your ancestral and cellular memory, your source level awareness. So the reason we clear congestion and restore ease of function is not simply to calm the nervous system down. It's to unbury it from insignificant noise so it can conduct what actually matters: your connection to your deeper or your higher self, your higher intelligence, your ancient wisdom, and your divinity. This is why regulation alone is insufficient. Regulation manages intensity. Liberation expands capacity. Liberation is about removing what keeps the nervous system's intelligence from expanding. And when liberation is paired with expansion, the system upgrades the amount of intensity it can carry without becoming overloaded. That's the big one. Think of it as a broadband internet. Isn't this ultimately what we are all after? Yeah. So the calm arrives as a natural background of a system that is no longer clogged and is firmly connected to its upgraded, expanded internal wiring. The impression I want to leave you with today is this: an expanded nervous system isn't less sensitive. It's freed sensitivity, operating at a high resolution. Now, I want to be mindful that I might have introduced some new concepts today, and at the same time, there is so much more on this topic that I would like to explore and you might like to know more about. In just a moment, I'll guide you through a gentle nervous system connection exercise for those who wish to participate. I want to thank you all for being here, for being a cherished part of this incredible summit, for listening, and your desire to connect more fully with your own powerful nervous system. All right, see if I can pull this up. Can you pull up that slide for me, please? I'm having trouble. Oh, thank you. So if you feel like this information was just the tip of the iceberg, because that's how I feel, and you are interested in continuing with the conversation, I've created a space where we can do just that. And you are invited to join me there in the Beyond Regulation bonus conversation. And here you'll find lots of really cool bonuses for the summit and for this talk, plus 2 more conversations on this topic, including living with an advanced nervous system. Also, a companion workbook, which will include all the notes from my talk today, plus notes from the 2 other talks on that platform. A recording of the group exercise we're going to do today, because we won't have time for the full version. So you will be able to log on and experience that again for yourself. And there's also a 2-part meditation bundle for clearing and expanding the nervous system that will help you integrate also what I covered today and practice. And there's also a summit level optional invitation for private support for those of you who are looking for that. You can find all of that on my webpage, heatherleighstrom.com, Heather, LEIGHSTROM.com. Simply RSVP. Your immediate access is free. And it's only available for 2 weeks following this summit. So please don't hesitate if you do find yourself interested. All right, you guys, let's do a brief group experience here. I think we have a few minutes left. One thing I'd like to add before we start is one more final thought I want to leave you with. Your nervous system is asking, what your nervous system is asking for isn't tighter control, it's freedom. It's freedom to resolve, to communicate, and to expand. And that's how it holds more light. And that, my friends, is your true superpower. All right? So now I'm going to show you how to begin this process of connecting with your nervous system to create a relationship with it. And this is an abbreviated version of the Nervous System Council meditation that's available on my additional platform. All right. So those of you who'd like to participate, please close your eyes for me. Take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, and really connect in with this moment. Just let everything go from your mind and come into total presence with now. That's right. Just let that nervous system relax. Find your heart space. And from your heart, I would like you to extend an invitation to your nervous system to come and sit with you. Ask it to come and sit and counsel with you right in front of you where you can see it, right here in this moment. Just extend a heartfelt invitation without any expectation or fear. Embody trust and curiosity so that your nervous system knows it's in a safe space. That's it. Just allow your own awareness and your inner knowledge to guide you as your nervous system delightfully joins you in this space. Just observe. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Does it have a smell? Maybe a color? Do you notice any frayed edges? Missing pieces? Are there any kinks or twists anywhere in the wiring? Just observe with open curiosity. Your nervous system may appear as a persona. It could look like a circuit board or a pile of wires in front of you. It could look like an animal, or maybe a different version of you. Whatever you see or perceive or hear, just understand it to be your nervous system as requested. Now open your heart to this part of you. You may even wish to share a hug or a warm embrace. Just connect and deeply lean into this moment. That's it. I invite you to ask your nervous system, what do I need to know today? What does my nervous system need from me? And then just create a space for that understanding to arrive. Keep your mind open and curious, your heart welcoming, and allow the response to come in a way that you can understand. That's it. Whatever your nervous system brings to you, just hold it with divine love, appreciation, respect, and see it for what it is. A piece of you that needs your help, clarity, and reassurance. Surround it with the incredible frequency of love, compassion, understanding, and truth. Just hold that part of you in your heart. Hug it, love it, really give it all of you, and see what happens. Now, thank your nervous system for sharing so richly and honestly with you. Maybe give it another hug as you temporarily part ways, knowing that you can always come back to this space and reconnect or get more information. That's your message for the day. This experience will guide you in what your nervous system needs from you right now at this moment. But for now, you'll be returning to the here and now as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. You'll return to this present moment, sitting right here in your chair. And you are invited to hold that clue, that suggestion, or that frequency in your heart all day long and see what happens. All right, beautiful souls. Remember, what your nervous system is asking isn't tighter control. It's freedom to resolve, to communicate, and to expand. That's how it holds more light, and that is your goal.
Wow, Heather Leigh, that was it was amazing. Thank you for that. I'm like in this really like beautiful little Zen place at the moment. I appreciate it. And I love all the new concepts that you introduced. I really resonated with
Yeah.
nervous system as liberation, not regulation, freedom.
Yeah.
That just
Yeah.
resonated so much with me. I love that.
Well, thank you very much. It kind of landed. I didn't know that's what I was going to talk about. It wasn't something I consciously knew. But when you put it all together with the work we're doing with clients and our own inner work, that makes a lot of sense.
Boy, it sure does. And I'm really looking forward to dive a little bit more into your work. I do want to thank you. You shared a lot of wisdom. You were very authentic with your lived experience. very
Yeah.
generous with your sharing, and your perspective offers really powerful reminders that the body's always communicating, right? And it saved your life
Always.
that day, but it's
Yeah.
communicating all the time, and listening with care can really change everything. So again, to learn more
Absolutely.
about Heather Leigh and her work, you can go to her website, heatherleigh.com, Leigh. Until next time, Heather Leigh, thank you so much.
Thank you.